situations. We're going to talk about seat belts. Before you taxi out, everyone has to have their seat belt fastened. Okay? And if you're the pilot in command and grandma in the back refuses to wear her seat belt, then your job is to refuse to take off. Okay, we're just going to park this puppy and not go anywhere. Okay, so for takeoff, landing, and taxi, everyone is required to have their seat belt, and if they're installed, shoulder harnesses. If you've got a newer airplane and shoulder harnesses came with that airplane, you can't remove them. Okay, my airplane, they didn't come with them originally, they're added, you're going to have to wear them. Okay, so some examiners like to test you and not put on their seat belt or not hook on their shoulder harness. It's you as the pilot in command to insist we're not moving until you're buckled up.
Good point.
Okay, and so you can be, now once we're in flight and grandma takes her seat belt off, your job is to fly the airplane. You inform her to buckle up, but if she refuses, you fly the airplane. Okay, you can't say, well, we're not going to land until you buckle up. You can try that, see how that works. But the kids, you can say, you're not having dinner if you don't buckle your seatbelt. But you can do whatever. But in flight, the crew can take off the shoulder harnesses when they're in their position, in their crew position. They have to keep the seatbelt on. Okay, so you're like, in a 172, what does that mean? It means I'm not leaving my position. Okay, if I'm in a more sophisticated airplane, I can get up and go to the back to deal with whatever, and so I have to unbuckle my seatbelt to do that. Okay, so, but if I'm seated at the controls, I'm buckling my seatbelt. It's kind of hard to get up and walk around in 172, but, so understanding, when do I have to have my seatbelt on? If I'm parked at the gas pumps and I'm going to move the airplane to the tie downs or back into the hangar, I don't have to buckle my seatbelt. Habit usually says I do, but that's different. So seatbelts, any questions about seatbelts? Wear them. Okay, and then we kind of touched on this earlier when I was talking to Lavina and Sue. If we have an engine failure and we know we're fixing to make an emergency landing, one person needs to be flying the airplane, but there's no reason why the other person can't slide their seat back and protect them from going into the dash, particularly if you don't have shoulder harnesses. Okay, if you've got a cushion, protect that person's face. Not because you have to, but because you can. Just make sure that cushion's not going to interfere with the control surfaces. Okay, and then Mary's thing is, if we wind up upside down, let's have a discussion before we unhook those seat belts. Okay, because if I'm with Justin, we wind up upside down out there, you're like, well, he's stronger than I am. So he can hold me up while I undo my seatbelt, and I can do my somersault, and then he can put his hands up and hold himself up, and I can undo his seatbelt on his count and maybe prevent a neck injury. Okay, does that make sense? So we just kind of take a deep breath and assess ourselves before we just panic and start releasing seatbelts and we wind up in a tangle of injuries. Transponder codes. 77, going to heaven. Okay, basically this is your emergency. Bad things are happening. If I had electrical failure, guess what? Doesn't matter. But if I have a problem, I can squawk 7700. Okay, and it's kind of like dialing 911 and hanging up. If you squawk 7700 accidentally, you better be telling them, that was inadvertent, we're fine, because they are going to, we don't know what's going on in the airplane. It could be, 7600, can't talk. Okay, I've had a radio failure. So, we're VFR pilots, so I'm like, okay, I'm talking to ATC 7600, I have flight following, switch at 7600, hey guys, you can't talk, our radios have gone bad, and then I'm going to switch to 1200, kind of tells them I'm okay. That makes sense? I can still send that text message, and when I get on the ground, I'll make some phone calls to make sure they understand I am okay. Okay, 7500, I've been hijacked. Okay, once upon a time, there was somebody mentally unstable, but they hijacked an airplane in Arkansas and at gunpoint forced the pilot to fly them to Oklahoma. It didn't work out really well, but understanding little airplanes, you know, I mean, oh, Lord help you, you've got toilet paper on board your airplane. Sorry. But understanding what these are. If you can't squawk 7500 because you are being hijacked, you announce on the radio, this is Cessna 3245 Lima inbound for landing. We're squawking 7500. We'll be entering left downwind for runway 20. You just kind of roll it into the flow, and ATC will be like, ah! So understanding, 77, I have an emergency. 76, my radios have failed. 75, I want the police to meet the airplane. And they'll be there, I promise. Okay, so those are my transponder codes. Our normal transponder code is 1200. Okay, so I'm squawking VFR. So that's my normal code. And our codes only go 0 to 7. We don't have an 8 or a 9 in there. Okay, just so you kind of know that. That shouldn't be a test question. It's kind of more of a other. So we've done that. Light gun signals, near and dear to my heart. I was a controller. Okay, green is good, red is bad. Okay. If, you know, all my years as a controller, I never gave a pilot anything other than a steady green. Okay, so, except as a test or what have you. But in the real world, I see you on the downwind. You're not talking to me. I'm going to give you a steady green. I'll make the other airplanes get out of your way. Okay, flashing green. All right. So she's on a quarter-mile final, and you're on the downwind. When I see you, I'll probably just, but I can give you a flashing green once she crosses the threshold. Now I can give you a steady green and clear you to land. Mm-hmm. So flashing green means keep on coming. When it's your turn, you'll get a steady green. Okay, but generally we just give you the steady green and don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. Okay, steady red means go around. Okay, if I'm talking to her, if anybody's going around, it's her. Okay, sorry, yeah. That's the way it's going to work, because I don't know what else is going on. And a flashing red means go away. I've already got more emergencies than I can handle right now. Okay, never used that one, never seen it. Okay, this is in flight. On the ground, this is different. Flashing green means you can taxi. So you've called me on the telephone to tell me your radio's not working, and so point your airplane at the tower when you're ready to taxi. Flashing green, you taxi out. Point at the airplane when you're ready to go. Steady green means you're cleared for takeoff. Okay, a steady red means stop. Okay, can't tell you why. Okay, maybe you're about to cross a whole short line, or maybe somebody else is doing something. It just means stop. And a flashing red means get off my pavement, stupid. Okay, I've used that one a time or two with a fire truck or a vehicle. Okay, they're trying to go someplace they shouldn't be, so they get the flashing red. Never done that to an airplane. But it basically, if you're in an airplane, means get off the runway. Okay, and so you went out on a runway, and I can't have you there right now. So flashing red. And then the fun one is the alternating red and green. So what does that mean? Book answer, exercise extreme caution. Well, that was very helpful. Okay, so what is this red and green? And the other part of it is, what is it? What is a light gun? Basically, it's kind of like this round thing with a focused lens, and I aim it. It's got sights just like a gun. So I aim it, and I pull the trigger to give me whatever signal I want, and I can modulate it if I want it flashing or steady. And so I'm aiming it just that. So if you see that light, it's meant for you. Okay, you're not going to see the light I give to somebody else. Okay, so the alternating red and green, again, I can't talk to you. So there's something I see that I'm not happy with. If you're in a 172, you're probably landing downwind. Do you want to land downwind? I don't know if you do or don't. Okay, if you've got smoke billowing out from underneath your dash, and that's what caused your radio failure, you got 8,000 feet of runway, you really don't care about the downwind landing. But if the wind is, say, if the radio failure is the only problem you have, go around and re-enter on the downwind and come back and land the other direction. If you're in a retract gear airplane, it probably means the wheels aren't down. Red and green, it's like, put the gear down if you can't. If you can, put the gear down. Okay, you had electrical failure, so you're not going to get a green light. Okay, so, but if you can't put the gear down, don't worry about it, because I'm calling these guys with the flashing lights. You will have company real soon. And again, I don't know what's going on in your airplane. Now, that being said, in today's world, we usually have a cell phone. Okay, so if you're going into a control tower, you can actually look up and get their phone number. Is it paranoid for me to get the phone number and program it in my phone if I'm going to someplace new? Is it overkill? But if I need it, it's there. Kind of, but it's a landline, so they don't typically take text. Okay, that being said, you call me and you're like, or you send me a text that, hey, whatever's going on, I can call them on that landline and tell them what's going on. And 90%, every controller is going to have a cell phone, and it's kind of like, if I text them your phone number, you may get a phone call here soon. So use the technology, but understanding that red and green, something's not right. If you can fix it, I highly advise you to do so. But it's probably landing downwind or landing with the wheels up are the top two things that I can think of. Okay, so should we take a break on that? And
okay, yeah.